The West Virginia Mountaineers were extremely lucky to get one of the best tackles in the portal this past cycle, and I've got him on to talk to him right here on this episode of Locked On West Virginia. You don't want to miss this one.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia. Going to be brought to you by FanDuel, guys. We love FanDuel around here. Right now, today, FanDuel is doing $150 in bonus bets. If you win that first $5 bet, go to FanDuel.com to get started. He could have went anywhere. Georgia Tech, Nebraska, Virginia, Arizona, Arizona State, Memphis, Pitt, Stanford, UNLV, or Wake Forest, and several more. But he chose the Mountaineers for a reason, and I'm excited about it. You guys know I was pushing hard for him. Let's bring on Will Reed, man. What's up, brother?
What's up, Paul, man? Excited to be here, bro.
Yeah, glad to have you here, man. So let's get into this really quick. How's it going? How does it feel since you made the decision? I've had a few recruits in the past tell me they had buyer's remorse. I'm assuming you haven't experienced that yet.
No way. No, it's been great, dude. Obviously, I think we've talked a lot about how the fan base really feels like a family here.
Right.
And I've felt the love all the way through. I mean, I'm still having people hit me up all the time. So, dude, it's been great, honestly. It's been awesome.
Yeah. I tried to make sure that you felt that. And dude, you did a good job at being tight-lipped throughout. You didn't give me which way you were leaning at all. And we talked a lot. So yeah. I was like, man, this guy's not going to, he's not going to let it slip, because obviously you didn't know me that well. I understand that at the time. So, you don't want that to get out. This is a big choice and decision, but it's not the first one you made. I want to start this interview in high school, man. One of the coolest things about you is that you could have played Power 5 football from the jump, but you chose to go Ivy League. That's a boss move.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. I think a lot of people around me were pretty surprised by that.
What led into that? Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you were ready to play Power 5 ball at that point in time, or do you think the Ivy League helped you get ready, or was it a physical thing for you, or was it, I want that Ivy League degree? I mean, because I can see that's appealing.
Education based for me. I think I definitely would have been ready to play. Obviously, I was a smaller tackle. In high school, I probably would have graduated around 275. But I think that's pretty standard for most people. I mean, today it seems like some of these kids are 310 in high school, but I feel like at the time it was pretty normal. But yeah, I think I was definitely ready to play Power 5 football at least as much as anyone else. Definitely not a freshman year starter by any means.
Right.
But yeah, it was really the education that sold the Ivy League for me.
That's an awesome move. And throughout this process, one of the things I gathered from you is that you really take your time with decisions. It's not something you rush through. It's something that, I don't know how involved your family is, but I got the feeling that they were very involved just from the few conversations we had. And I like that, because I make a lot of decisions with my family too. What was it about West Virginia that stood out on that official visit where you made it? You commented on it several times, best facilities. And in comparison to who did you have that to compare against?
I mean, throughout my time getting recruited, high school and on, I mean, I've seen a lot of great facilities. Like I've seen Oregon, Arizona, Cal, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, a bunch of massive schools, but I think West Virginia definitely stands out, especially all the recovery stuff Coach Joseph was showing us, like the infrared saunas. There's what is the bath salt, like Epsom salt float tanks. Cryotherapy chambers. It's just ridiculous, dude. And everything is built sort of around the weight room. So as you walk around the facility, you have windows in. I love that too, that there's nowhere to hide. Everything's on display, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I loved it.
So obviously Coach Dressler, Coach Bicknell were big in your recruitment, and we're very involved with getting you to West Virginia. Coach McNeil's NFL experience must have been a selling point. How do you see his coaching influence on your game at West Virginia?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I mean, that was a huge thing for me. Probably one of the most important, if not the most important thing for me was the experience of my position coach on the O line, and I think he's had obviously an insanely successful career as an O line coach, and
Yeah.
I think he's an experienced guy. Like he's been around coaching really for the probably 40 years. He's been coaching, and at some massive programs too. And when we go over film together, like we did at the visit, I just think he is a very technical guy, which I think is gonna help me grow really as a player. Um, so yeah, that's a huge part of what sold me on West Virginia.
So the scheme you guys ran at Princeton, how similar is it to what Rich Rod runs? Maybe not at all. And how big of an adjustment do you think it'll be for you to run a scheme like Rich Rod's? While maybe I don't know how technical it is on the spectrum of offensive line, but it's fast, and you have to
Yeah,
get the call, and you have to get lined up, and you have to know where you're going now.
yeah.
Usually before the hopefully pre-snap even. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've been running a no huddle offense literally my entire life, so I'm definitely here for it. I don't think there's going to be much of an adjustment. I mean, when you get down to it at the college and the NFL level, I think that most places are really running the same plays just with different terminology. So I think you can usually plug right in. Obviously, I got to be diligent in learning my playbook because everyone has intricacies to how they run their offense. But I think for me, it's really just about staying conditioned throughout this off season. So I'm not really out of breath when I have to get up on that line. But yeah, I think I'm definitely confident with my ability to learn the playbook pretty quickly.
So, given your experience in the Ivy League, man, how do you think? What do you think you bring to the table that can elevate WV's offensive line play and help make an impact in the Big 12?
I think I'm a smart player with a lot of awareness. I also think I'm a very nasty player. Like I know it'll be definitely a higher level of competition, especially when it comes to the size aspect of the people that I'll be going against. Um, but I don't really have a lot of fear when I play. I like taking it to people. I like trying to be the most physical person on that field. And I definitely am going to be able to grow a lot in the off season. I think in the first few games, getting adjusted to the competition level in the Big 12. But I'm really excited to do it.
So, obviously, you were a standout high school basketball player, and on tape that shows great feet.
Mhm.
What do you think about basketball? Is it, especially for big guys, that helps with the offensive line play?
I mean, everyone who's lived on that post block knows, man. Everything's just a power dribble, drop step, get to the glass. I think that's where the footwork comes in.
Yep.
And on defense too. I mean, you think about being in a defensive slide, sitting down in that chair, super super similar to pass pro on the O line. So I think that's definitely a great help. Um, if there wasn't a injury risk, I would still be hooping all the time. But for me, it's just
I
I don't really
understand.
feel comfortable elevating to get a block anymore. Scared to roll an ankle or something. But that's also
Yeah.
post football. I'm super excited to get back into that world as well.
Absolutely, man. So, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what you get. Were you one of the better hoopers on the Ivy Leagues on the Princeton squad?
No, dude. Honestly, we have some freaks. I mean, we have guys doing 360 windmills. Like we have a couple guys that probably could have played for the hoops team here. The funny thing now that we're second semester seniors, the women's team is always looking for practice players. So they just kind of sense out the bat signal for that. They love getting it from like retired football guys. So some of my teammates here will start playing as practice players for the women's team soon.
That's hilarious, dude. That's great. Got to get them where you can. So
Yeah, that's
you haven't
awesome.
moved to West Virginia yet. When is that supposed to happen?
So that'll be right after graduation for me. So that'll be at the end of May.
End of May. End of May. I bet you're looking forward to that, man. It's going to be a whole new world for you in Morgantown. What did you get to experience in Morgantown just in a little bit of time you were there?
Yeah, so it was actually kind of right in the middle of a pretty big snowstorm.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, my favorite part about it was just driving around, seeing the scenery. Where I'm from in Washington is kind of right on the edge between a small town and the countryside. So that's what I love. Like I love the open spaces, the hills, all the trees, and that's what I fell in love with personally.
Awesome. Let's go to a break real quick. Got to do a quick read. We'll come right back and we'll ask Reed a few more questions. Stick around,
Perfect.
guys. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, guys. This episode of Locked On West Virginia with William Reed is brought to you by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip off or you want to bet on the fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting, whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit the clutch three. I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, there is an app to use that's really easy. And when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new customers can bet $5. If you win that $5 bet, $150 in bonus bets is coming your way, guys. That's FanDuel today. FanDuel.com. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. And we are back with Will Reed, who I have called Reed a couple times today already. Again, it's like a habit I have to get out of, dude. I am sorry. I don't know why I
It's
keep
all
calling you
good,
Reed.
bro.
I keep calling you Reed for some reason, like you're Reed Williams. You know, I think that's why I'm doing it because one of our all-time great players is Reed Williams.
Mm.
And it just from my head, it's like one of those things I've got your name reversed for some reason.
Yeah, I remember seeing tweets about that. People were saying, talking about him. They were like, "It's a good sign that we got it back." It's pretty similar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy, man. So I know you probably, who knows really, but I like these questions. How do you think the competition in the Ivy League is going to compare to the Big 12? Or do you think it's definitely a step up?
Yeah, I think I've had this conversation a lot, not only with like reporters, but just friends and family and things like that. And I think there's definitely people in the Ivy League that are capable of playing at that
Right.
level for sure. I mean, I hope that I can help kind of put that on display this next season. I know I have some teammates and some former opponents that are trying to do the same thing. But I think it's just further between. You know what I mean? Like I've definitely seen the type of talent. I believe that it's capable of playing in those leagues, but it's just not every guy, or at least not every guy has the size and the speed and the strength. So there's people that have like some of those components. There's definitely a couple of them that have all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like
I
you.
think the biggest, I appreciate that. I think the biggest thing will, yeah, it's seeing people that have the power to hit you with the bull rush and the speed to get around the edge
Right.
and the agility to hit a spin move. Because usually what we see is like, okay, there's a small, fast guy that can hit a quick move, but he's not able to bull rush me. And when you get into leagues like this, everyone can do everything. So that'll be the new challenge, I think.
Have you seen some of the pass rushers we got coming in? Like you're going to get tested in practice. Jamori
Oh,
Robinson, guys like
oh
that. That's
yeah,
going to be
no.
fun to see.
I think he might have been on his visit at the same time as me. Because I saw big kid, dude. I've seen his film. Yeah, he's a monster. But I mean, that's even better for us, because that competition is what makes other people better. And like when you get to compete against guys like that are looking to be one of the best in the league coming in, it's great for everyone.
You don't if you want to say no comment on this, that's fine. But was that you? Or was that your group that had a departure right in the middle of the light and in the middle of the night during the visits that got in the car and took off?
Yeah, that was our group. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I remember hearing about that from a few guys. That's the NIL era, right? In and of itself, like a guy got a call in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think yeah, someone got a call from another school in the middle of the night and they sent an Uber. And I mean, if you know that airport, I mean that they sent like an hour long Uber for him to get to the
Insane.
airport and fly out. Um, yeah, I think NIL has done a lot of great things for athletes, and I think they definitely, or we definitely deserve to make some sort of compensation. Just when you look at uh, how much money football can generate for universities, but then there's also that other half of it where it seems like some people are prioritizing the wrong things in their
Right.
recruitment. So that I don't know, it's like a bittersweet thing, and I think they're still trying to get a handle on all that.
We didn't discuss this beforehand, so I don't know if you want to talk about it. But did you visit anywhere else after West Virginia?
I did not.
You didn't. Okay. So it went better than I thought it did, I guess, because like a few of my boys, we were sweating it out a little bit because I identified you early on. I watched your tape. I felt like you were a great fit for what Rich Rod does. Obviously, I knew you guys ran an up tempo scheme there. Um, and I just felt like what you do, especially from a run game standpoint, you ragdoll people. You just do. Like that's
Thank
something
you.
that,
Thank you.
first of all, it fits our psyche as West Virginia fans, and like the offensive line play we've come to expect when you guys got like guys like Milam and Frazier. Like there's
Yeah.
a what I want to ask you is, what do you think about the standard that those guys have set? Because it's been a really high standard.
Yeah.
Zach Frazier was the best rookie center in football this year in the NFL. Wyatt Milam's going to be a first round pick. Doug Nestor's in the
Yeah,
league. He was just the year
he
before
just
him.
had a great time at the Reese's Senior Bowl. I saw all of
Yeah.
his reps, and
Yeah.
he did great.
Yeah. So, I think you coming into one thing that you can look at is like, although there's not a ton of guys remaining, there still are guys remaining. I think that you can walk in and help keep the standard where it was,
Mm,
whenever these guys have left out.
yeah, definitely. I think obviously very storied position, especially at West Virginia.
Right.
And I think when I was talking to Coach Joseph, obviously head of the strength staff there on my visit, and we talked about those guys like Milam, and what they all had in common was there's no secret ingredient with this stuff, right? Like he was just saying, those guys who are great and the guys who lead, they come in and they do extra every single day. He said Milam would walk in and there'd be a row of linemen following him like ducklings, like just getting into the weight room 2 hours before everyone else,
That's
stretch out, do
hilarious.
extra work, like whatever, core conditioning, stuff like that. I mean, that is when people are great like that, it's not happening on accident. It's the
Right.
result of that sort of consistency, that sort of leadership. So that's all there is to it. And I love that there's a high standard and a pedigree of greatness coming out of West Virginia because that
Yeah.
means, if I can't do it, then it's on me because obviously people are doing it from there. So,
I love
so
that
it's
accountability.
it's great to have those standards. You can't have any excuses ready for yourself.
Right. I love that. It's almost like you're pre planning to have that if you do that, right? Like it's like a reservation in a way. Like, I'm going to go ahead and pre plan this excuse for if this
Mm,
doesn't work or that doesn't work. I'm with you on that. And have been guilty of that in my life at points. So definitely a good way to put that. I think you walk into this offensive line room as one of the most tenured guys as far as college football goes. Do you think have you thought about how you're going to walk into this? Do you think you're going to play it by ear, try to be a leader right away, or are you just a vocal guy that's going to come in and be you?
I'm always going to be myself. That's first and foremost, definitely.
Okay.
Um, I think there's certain times where or certain situations where you need to defer to people who might know the culture better than you. But I
Hmm.
think at the same time, there's always room for you to fit in and lead in many ways. I think leadership comes in all different shapes and sizes,
Yeah.
and sometimes a loud voice is what you need leading the pack. Sometimes a loud voice is just kind of adding noise to the room that's unneeded. So you kind of have to feel that out once you get on campus and sort of see where you fit in. But I think it's kind of on everyone to lead by example. You need a whole room full of 20, 25 guys doing what they're supposed to at all times to create a good position group that can get the job done.
Let's go to one more quick 8-second break. It's just an ad thing, and then we'll finish this interview up, guys. Stick around for
Perfect.
this. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, and we are back. We caught you getting a drink there. It's segment. We just finished segment 2. I didn't crack a do in segment 2. This is the thing that I do because my mouth gets really dry. Because, like, when you're solo in these shows, man, and you got to talk for 30 minutes straight, it's
Oh,
like, when do I get a break?
yeah, I get it for
So,
sure.
thank you, Fester, for putting the Discord in the chat. Um, where can people find you, real quick, before we get into a couple more questions, William? Because you're on X, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So, actually, my Twitter is Will Reed 44, and then my Instagram is Will Reed. I think there's like an extra L on the Will and some extra D's on the Reed, REED. So, yeah, it should
yep,
pop up.
I got you in the chat at Will
Sweet.
Reed 44. Make sure you guys go give him a follow. I made sure he saw all the love that he was getting throughout that recruiting process, and so did Chaz, so did Dylan. I think was involved. Actually, we were all trying to make sure that he was seeing that because I feel like it's important. Let's talk about the fan support. You really, it's big here, and if you look at the Twitter, especially your X numbers, like we've had several publications name us alongside of Alabama, Ohio State.
Hmm.
We're in that caliber of fan support.
100%.
Was that obvious during your recruitment?
I mean, I would have to be blind and deaf to not notice the support from you guys. It was not only like important or like noticeable, but absolutely like ridiculous off the chain. I mean, I've never felt, obviously we talked about it before. This is kind of my second crack at getting recruited after
Yeah,
getting recruited in high school. And I mean, I got recruited by the like some great schools. Like I had the Tennessee offer, I had the Michigan and the Michigan State offers, and I never saw any type of fan base like this. It was unreal.
yeah. Yeah, once we get a hold of somebody, and I think like with you especially, I think it was because I was doing videos on it too, not just me, other people. It's not just because of
Oh,
me,
that
but
was the thing too. There was like 15 reporters that are like reaching out to me,
yeah,
covering
yeah.
me, asking me questions. It was great, dude. It was awesome.
I think it was a culmination of all a bunch of really good players left and one other places. So there's that innate fear of like, holy crap, the O line needs some work now. Where it was really solid, and I'm not saying it couldn't have been solid with or without you, but I think you were a great addition, and I think a very much needed addition. So once I got to watching your tape, and I was like, oh, we got to have this guy, and I think a lot of people realized that. So just kudos to you, man, for all the work you put in there at Princeton.
Thank you, man.
This is the going to be the Rich Rod portion of the program where we talk about Rich Rod and that hard edge mentality that he always
Mhm.
talks about. How much time did you just spend with Rich Rod, and what were those conversations like?
Yeah, I probably met with him. I mean, I saw him throughout my visit, of course, but our final meeting was probably about a half hour, 45 minutes. But you could tell he practices what he preaches, man. I mean, that the hard edge, no excuses, fourth quarter mentality, that's all real. You can kind of tell when you're talking with someone if they're like dancing around questions, trying to be like
Yeah,
fluffy or showy with that is not him. It's
no,
much like what I said earlier. The secret is the work, the secret is the reps. Like he all he wants is people to work hard, people who love football, tough guys. So I love that, dude. I don't think there's any room in this game for nonsense because some of the stuff people focus on doesn't really do anything for you. But he's a no nonsense guy. Get to work, put your hard hat on. I love that.
I'm getting updates on my Discord server. Thank you guys for putting Will's stuff in the Discord as well. I don't know who did it, Spester or somebody else, but I appreciate you guys for doing that. He definitely deserves it.
Thank you.
So, who on the team are you talking to anybody on the team? I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that you are. I don't know, but if
Mm.
you are, like, is there anybody that you're cool with already, or the offensive line guys?
Yeah, so I've reached out to a few guys, mostly just following guys on Instagram. I know they have a ton going on there right
Yeah, yeah.
now. Um, so yeah, I haven't been like reaching out constantly and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Really just reaching out to most of the guys on the O
But you're
line
not there
room.
yet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like an awkward thing. We'll also definitely have a lot of time to get to know each other in the
Yeah.
summers. But making sure I keep in touch, honestly, mostly with Coach Joseph as I'm doing their workout plans here at Princeton. Shoot a text to Coach Bignell, Coach Dressler every once in a while too. But yeah, it's been good though.
Do teams continue to try to recruit you at this? Like, is that something you can talk about? I ask guys about this sometimes.
Mm.
Like, after you commit somewhere, do there teams that still reach out and like check with you, or is it kind of
So I
like
don't
done?
think that's legal.
No, it's
I
not, but it
I
happens.
haven't experienced it at all personally, but I don't think they can once it's. I think
Once you
it's once
sign
you
the paperwork,
sign. Yeah, I
yeah,
think once you sign, it's illegal for any of them to reach out to you.
interesting. I've had a couple guys obviously say that that's happened, but it's not a surprise. It does
Yeah,
happen. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean that would I was just curious just because you were such a highly sought after player that maybe some people would try to fudge that. You never know.
yeah.
Um, so you mentioned Coach Rod stuff and how you got to meet with him. Did he talk about hard edge with you guys, or is that just something that like was known going into
Oh, he definitely talks about it. I mean,
it? That's
it's
great.
just. I mean, the legacy there too. I mean, it's just all about being hungry. You have to find a way to have an edge over your opponent, and for us and for the program, I think it's really just about being determined, being hungry, knowing that you're not going to quit. And I think that's what hard edge is to me.
So I'd read in a couple articles that you may play guard. Have you got any sense of what you might do yet, or is it some of those things where you're not sure?
Yeah. So when I talk to Coach Bignell, he sees me as a tackle
Okay,
first and foremost.
good.
He did mention that he might try to get me some guard reps, maybe in
Well,
practice,
that's cross
maybe.
training. Everybody does that.
Exactly, exactly. So when we talk about me and like my future, because I probably do project at the professional level more so as an interior guy.
Uh huh.
So he was more so, or the vibe I got at least was he wanted to help me cross train just to be ready for that transition. So that's definitely an option. I mean, I don't care where I'm playing. I
I
just want to
figured you
do.
didn't. Yeah.
No, I just want to do my best to help the team win games. That's all I'm worried about. Whether it's tackle guard, I don't know if I could snap anymore. So definitely not center. I don't think.
You're tall to be center, but I look, it's
Yeah, but
definitely something I think you could do from the athleticism standpoint, anyway. So, and there are guys that big that do it. It's just typically the center. You think of a center in that 6'1" to 6'4" range, I think, but
yeah,
you're a bit bigger than that, aren't you? Aren't you 6'6"?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So the be a little bit big, but more so just I would play anywhere, man. Wherever the team needs
yeah.
me, wherever we can win games. That's what I want.
Is there anything that you wanted to say when you came on here today, as far as towards the fans, towards anything?
Not really, bro. Just a thank you, truly,
Yeah,
like a genuine thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's been great, dude. It's been awesome. I felt the love the whole time. So that's really the only big thing I need to say to you guys.
I appreciate that, man. It's been fun talking to you. Trying to think, make sure I didn't have any other questions I'm missing out on. I'm sure they'll let me know in the chat. Do you like Mountain Dew?
Do I like Mountain Dew? It's
Yeah,
been a while since I've had a Mountain Dew. I think, but when I was in middle school, I definitely that was one of my favorite ones.
yeah. I still drink Mountain Dew, but I'm not playing the college offensive line. I guess that's true.
Hey, I think the caffeine is probably the best part of Mountain Dew. It'll keep you awake for
Yeah.
sure.
Let's do a couple because we got a couple minutes left. Let's do a couple just personal ish things, like very
Mm.
surface level. What's your favorite food slash fast food restaurants or whatever?
Food, if I'm making it, just a favorite food, it's steak. I love grilling a steak. That's my favorite thing in the world.
Medium rare.
Definitely. Oh, 100%. Medium rare, ribeye. I'd rather on the grill,
Got
but
it
if
in the
I'm doing it on
fridge.
the pan, I can do some butter basting in the pan. That's always
Love
good.
that. Yeah.
Uh, Fast food. Let's see. Would you call Chipotle a fast food, or is
I
that
think it's
more like
somewhere in the
casual?
middle. I think
Yeah,
it's like it's kind of like it's not quite Applebee's, but it's not quite Taco Bell. You know what I mean?
yeah, true. I would man, maybe Chick-fil-A. I love Popeyes too. Um, yeah, I'm a big fried chicken guy, bro. I love fried chicken.
Raven wants to know: have you ever been to a WVU game? He grew up on the West Coast, so I doubt it. But
No, I have
yeah,
not. Yeah,
okay. What do you think about that stadium, by the way?
awesome,
The
dude.
col the Coliseum's nice too. I don't know if you got to see that.
I don't think so. But
Yeah.
the stadium was like unreal. Stepping on
Yeah.
that, and like it's like right outside the weight room too, which is awesome. So that was great.
I know I keep going back, but I meant to ask you about Jaheim White. Have you got to check any of his highlights out? One of the guys you'll be blocking for?
I haven't yet. No.
Jaheim White probably projects as starting running back. Well, I mean, I would be shocked if he wasn't. He's obviously a. You'll be excited when you see it. You know, if you ever get time. I know you're busy trying to
Oh,
graduate and
I'll
all that.
watch him right after this, man.
He's probably going to be the starting running back. You know, 99% sure. Like I'm not the coach, but I mean, you know, he's one of those guys that's been the guy for a couple years. We got him to stick around, even though we had the coach leave. And he is one of the most electric players in college football. He was a freshman All American, and somebody that we're definitely going to be excited to see play in this offense because it's built for running backs, you know, and it's going to be exciting, man. So yeah, check Jaheim White out. I'll send you a link after
Definitely.
this or something, man.
Perfect.
I appreciate you for coming on, dude. And you called me today, and I appreciate that because I wasn't trying to pester you because I know that you're busy. So I
Yeah.
do appreciate that, man. It was super cool of you.
Of course, bro. This has been great, man. I love it. Yeah, thanks to you, bro. I mean, you've done a great job covering me and just like giving me advice, bro. Obviously, sending these posts out to all your fans, and I felt the love.
Yeah.
But it's been great, man.
Well, I think the only other question I had, which I was saving until last, is: do you hate Pitt yet? And have you dove into this rivalry at all, or is that something that'll probably get closer to home once you get to Morgantown?
Uh, I could probably sum it up in 3 words.
You can say them.
Eat shit, Pit, man.
There we
That's all I'm
go,
gonna
man.
say.
We can't end it any better than that. We can't end it any better than that. And they are coming to Morgantown this year. And dude, I am so aren't they? Aren't they coming to
Yep.
Morgantown? Yeah, they are. Sometimes I get it flipped in my head. But yeah, you know, Narduzzi has called our fans zoo animals in the past. They made them wear like so dramatic. They made them wear helmets and shoulder pads getting off the bus because in the 80s, some of our fans and 90s threw batteries, and which was really bad. I'm not lying, but it's just like so dramatic, you know, like um, got to gear up. You might get hit by a stray battery. You know, I felt like he's just such a drama queen. So, and I'm obviously not a fan. Not trying to give
Obviously.
you any bulletin board material for them, but this is me saying it, not Will.
Mhm.
But yeah, so obviously fired up for that pit game, man. Can't wait to see you in it.
Definitely.
Guys, thank you for joining this. I went rapid fire there at the end. I'm one of those people like, what did I forget? You know, that's just how I am. But thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys, and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team every single day. William Reed, man, really excited to have him in Morgantown coming up. He will be graduating from Princeton soon. How many people get to say that in their life? Congratulations, man, and we will see
Thank
you
you.
when you get to town, man. I'll keep in touch with you.
I can't wait, bro. I appreciate you once again and all the fans, of course.
Yep. All right, guys, that's it for us for today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Follow Will on his socials, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. We are out of here.